This is so much more than me or my school. You know, it's about a human right. It's a right for a woman to have a child.
She was fired from a local all-girls Catholic high school after telling her bosses she's pregnant. She's also a lesbian. The big question tonight, did the school have the legal right to let her go? Welcome back to Let It Rip. It's the church versus sexual freedom. With us tonight is the pioneering attorney leading the fight to overturn the state's ban on gay marriage. She's been a prosecutor, defense attorney, and she just might end up challenging the U.S. Supreme Court. Dana Nessel's back. Next to her, Robert Muse, an attorney with the American Freedom Law Center. He argues that Marian High School, a religious institution, has the right to fire anyone who fails to honor the morality clause in their contracts. Dr. Monica Miller calls it one of the biggest issues facing all religions. She is a theologian and author who literally wrote the book on sexuality and authority in the Catholic Church. And of course, we've got the man who needs to go to church as often as he can, but of course, he also hosts Let It Rip on weekend. Dana, you are not representing Barbara Webb. They haven't decided to sue yet, but frankly, you have litigated cases like this before. Does she have an argument? Can she win?
I think she does have a case, and I think she could win it if she chose to litigate it. Even though we don't have any protections for LGBT persons in the state of Michigan, they are not part of the Elliott-Larsen Act. We do have some very stringent protections as it pertains to pregnant women. And in the event that she was terminated based on her pregnancy, which by all accounts seems to be the case, I think she has a very good case.
Now, Robert, Charlie and I have morality clauses in our contracts, but they're general, very broad. What was it specifically about Barbara Webb's behavior that allows the church to fire?
Well, it's not so much just the morality clause. I mean, as Dana mentioned, there's no protection for sexual orientation under state discrimination laws nor federal discrimination laws. And even if there is a discrimination, you know, they're certainly going to argue, I think the best case for them is to say it was based on pregnancy, but it's not. It's based on sexual orientation. This organization, it's a religious organization. So many of these discrimination laws have exceptions for religious organizations, particularly ones dealing with education, where you're trying to inculcate values to the students. And here it's a Catholic church, a Catholic school trying to inculcate Catholic values. They also would have a defense under the religion clauses of the First Amendment, the Free Exercise Clause and the Establishment Clause. They have a right internally to decide what are the values that their teachers are going to hold and the values that they're going to convey to their students. And in this case, it violated those fundamental church values. It's created scandal. They have a fundamental right under the Constitution to fire this teacher.
But doctor, are men and women treated the same? There are some people who say that the Catholic Church is frankly run by men and that they dictate the way women should do themselves.
That's not what this issue is about at all. Barbara Webb, who's the center of this controversy, taught for an institution that's run by an order of religious nuns who are committed to the teachings of Christ that they try to cultivate in their school for their female students. And the problem here is that Barbara Webb, she was in a lesbian relationship, already contrary to the teachings of the Catholic faith, that this school believes in and is committed to.
But now she says that the school knew about that relationship.
Exactly.
And as long as she agreed to the don't ask, don't tell policy, there was no problem.
The issue is scandal. Because according to the Free Press article, Barbara was trying to be discreet about her relationship. She didn't talk about it in the classroom. And so apparently Marian High School was able to coexist with this situation. But now it's another situation. Barbara deliberately made a decision knowing that there was a morality clause or a morality policy in her contract, not to bring scandal to the institutions, this institution that's committed to the teachings of Christ.
But she's married, though. She's married.
Not married. Not in the eyes of the church. She certainly is not married. And I'm not even certain that she's married at this stage, according to Michigan law. And I'll let the lawyers address that.
But this is what the teacher, Barbara Webb, had to say to Fox 2 earlier this week.
If you publicly had some type of actions that were contradictory to Catholic teachings, then there would be an issue. If you did and it was private, there seemed to be no issue. Obviously, being pregnant, you can't hide forever, you know, so I tried to be proactive and professional. Really, my only options were to resign or be terminated.
She posted the story on her Facebook page. Barbara Webb has received an outpouring of support from around the country, but some criticism too, Charlie.
Well, I just want to know, I'm just trying to understand this thing. It seems that you've got this morals clause in there that is Catholic, and I understand the teaching of the Catholic Church, but how fundamentally can you have a clause in a contract that blatantly does discriminate against pregnant women?
Okay, but
don't we have a right to have a baby?
Charlie,
The
this is
answer is
not
that you
discriminating
can't legally.
against. This is not discriminating against the pregnancy. This has to do with bringing scandal to a Catholic institution committed to certain teachings based on the Christian faith.
She specifically requested a leave of absence so that she would not be seen to be pregnant in front of the students. So the question is, why is it, if it was something that was not going to be brought to the attention of the students, why is it that they felt the need to fire her? And what is so hypocritical about this situation is you have all kinds of teachers at Marian and at many other parochial schools that do not abide by the Catholic faith in all kinds of ways. They get divorced and remarried and have children. They use artificial insemination if they have problems getting pregnant, and you don't see those people getting fired. The only people that have been fired at this school for non-performance related reasons are people that are gay.
Are women who have children out of wedlock fired from their jobs at Catholic?
She made a decision knowing that there was a policy, a morals policy, that has brought scandal to this Catholic institution. Now look, she made a deliberate decision to get to possibly buy sperm from a man she doesn't even know. She gets herself artificially inseminated,
which is also against church teaching.
Exactly right. Yes. So there's all, and she. I think we need to pay attention to this. She makes it, and keeping in mind that this is an institution that's educating young Catholic girls. She made a decision to have a child deliberately shunning the father. There will be no father involved in the raising and the fathering of this baby. And I think that, right there, that's wrong.
Well, that will be her partner. Robert?
Yeah, no, I mean, if there's anything that's hypocritical, it's her. I mean, she took this job knowing she was working for a Catholic organization. She agreed when she signed a contract to abide by the teachings of the Catholic Church, and here she is just flaunting it. And obviously it looks like they gave her many options to, to be discreet in what she's doing. It reached the point now where it was going to create scandal. They fired her, and they're on solid legal ground for this.
Barb Webb was led to believe that this was a safe place for her and that all they were going to care about is whether or not she was a good teacher, which by all accounts she was an excellent teacher.
Let me ask you this.
Catholic education is not just about what happens in the classroom. Catholic education is about creating a moral environment in which people can exercise virtue and
what about love thy neighbor? Is that not what the church should be striving to do?
Of course, and look at what's going on here. They tried to accommodate. They already tried, Dana. They already tried to accommodate. They made allowances for her lesbian relationship. They turned a blind eye to it. Now, the question is, at what point does a Catholic institution have a right to try and be faithful to its mission? At what point do you say, okay, this
But can you be faithful to the mission by discriminating against someone's fundamental right to have a baby?
Again, Charlie, she doesn't have a fundamental right to have a baby, artificially inseminating herself, contrary to the teachings of the Catholic faith, contrary really to the dignity of the baby.
What if a heterosexual woman had used artificial insemination who was in a heterosexual relationship? She couldn't get pregnant.
She should be fired as well.
She should be fired.
Exactly. Any male teacher who is having sex outside of marriage with a woman, even whether he gets her pregnant or not.
Does the school ask?
Of course, it should.
It should ask.
But
are you having sex outside of the marriage?
No, Charlie, let me rephrase. If it came to light, that teacher's contract should not be renewed.
Panel, we thank you. We're going to have many more discussions on this issue. We appreciate your insights.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Still to come on Let It Rip, we ask the question, if someone hacked your cell phone, what's the most embarrassing photo someone might find? Charlie takes the show on the road when Let It Rip returns.